Hello, everyone. I'm Molly Dare, and welcome to Polarized, covering the polarizing news of the week. And this is February 4th, 2025. I am joined today by the much sought after podcast host extraordinaire, topping the podcast charts in every single category right now. Honestly, Donna, you're like killing it right now. The amazing Donna Bowling, Daily Dose of Donna.
Hi, Molly. It's so funny to see you in like a professional setting since we talk on the phone 475 times a day.
All right, let's start with the first headlines. Then, of course, we're going to go into the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni of it all because it never ends.
Literally never ends with them.
Never ends. It's not ending with us. It's not ending in 2025 and hopefully in
I
2020.
love every second.
It's amazing. And you're doing an amazing job covering it. You guys, if you want daily updates on all that is Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds, and anybody else now who's involved, you've got to watch Donna Bowling. She's just fantastic at breaking it all down. But first, I want to start with another headline this week, which is the Grammys. We need to dive into all of the Grammys, and I don't even know where to begin because there's so much to discuss. And I feel like you and I may come on opposite sides on some of it. So I'm excited to dive in. All right, Grammys, red carpet. Let's discuss.
You mean like looks, just in general looks?
Well, I want to discuss first Kanye and Bianca Censori. Is that how we say her name? What is going on there? What do you think is happening in that relationship? What is the dynamic?
So, look, I really try as hard as I can to not follow anything he does. I find him like I want to give him no attention because he's so offensive to me. I find him like he's so all about trying to make I think every single thing he does is trying to, I guess, upset people. Like, what's the word?
He's trying to shock and awe everybody. It's always like
it's a little bit of like Candace Owens vibe, right? Like you say something because you want the clicks, you want the clickbait, you want like
polarizing.
There you go. But in such a not negative, like in such a negative way. Like polarizing can also be in a very interesting and positive way.
Right.
He does it in such a rage baiting way. He tries to anger so many different people, so many minorities, every single person he's offended, right? What person out there hasn't been offended by Kanye in some capacity? Like everyone, I feel like, has been offended.
100%.
And so
they keep pushing the bar. They keep pushing it further and further and further.
And this relationship that he has with his wife is so confusing to me. And I think that, we've seen her really just get like more naked and more naked and more naked.
I didn't think she get more naked. And then she got more naked than that.
I mean, she literally is naked. I saw her labia.
I saw them her children. Like,
I mean, my kid lost his virginity while watching the red carpet. And I mean, seriously, he wasn't watching the red carpet, but I was thinking, what if my 9-year-old was watching with me?
Absolutely. I mean,
it's weird.
My kids, yeah. It is. And okay, so there was some miscommunication on that. They got kicked out after that, or if he chose to leave, et cetera, et cetera. And there was also some dialogue. I want to find this article that said what they were saying. Did you see the lip sync or the lip reader?
The lip reader.
Yes. And okay, so I just want everyone to know what was said because we were kind of watching and she came in this like black fur coat and we're like, oh, she looks beautiful. She did. She looked beautiful. And then she kind of turned around and there was some communication between the two of them. She looked like she didn't, whatever he was saying to her, she was kind of like,
And it was the eyes.
Yeah, there was something.
She looked scared.
Yes. And I think that's where people are concerned.
But you know what? So I was just recording Dumois and I was talking to her about it. And I think they're willing participants. So everyone's like, I'm really nervous about her. I'm really worried about her. But when you see that there's this video later at night, because they didn't go in and we can talk about that. But later at night, they had this after party, or he did, and she's singing and she's dancing and she looks so happy. I do question, is she really being controlled or is she a very willing participant?
So let me read what they said, the lip reader said, okay? So the lip reader, Nicola Hickling, said he told Censori wearing a black fur coat over a mesh ensemble with no underwear. Okay, this wasn't even like underwear underneath. It was full everything.
With like it was like a mesh slip.
Yeah.
So it was a slip, but full see-through.
So Kanye says to her, you're making a scene now. She nodded her head and he told her, make a scene. I'll say it'll make so much sense. He added, drop it behind you and then turn. I got you. She then tells him, all right, let's go. She then turns around, right, with her fur coat and then like slowly takes it off. And you see that she's nude kind of in the back, and everyone's like, and then she turned around. Now, what I didn't know, Donna, was that what he claims is he was mimicking his cover art for his album, and it was the way of promoting. So I'm going to show you guys a cover
Oh,
of
I
the
didn't know
album.
this.
Yeah.
There's something about him that he gets off on this feeling of being in control of her. And he
Yeah.
liked this idea. He told her, look scared. I guarantee you. He was like, I want you
Oh,
to look nervous, like a deer in headlights.
yeah.
Literally, her eyes, she portrayed this like scared girl. And I guarantee you it was like an act. Like, look at me like you're scared.
Yes. Oh, they
Because
reversed.
there's no way she didn't know that she was gonna feel that way when she stood there. It was all a plan.
I mean, she's been walking around Italy naked, everywhere naked. This
With
is
a
not
pillow.
okay. I want to discuss the rest of the fact on the red carpet, and then we have more to talk about what went on during the Grammys. But
Yeah.
I was so incredibly underwhelmed by the fashion this year and everyone's looks. Like nobody really gave much.
It felt like just like very cocktail party.
Right. Now, I understand that they were trying to make it a little bit more calmed down than normal because of the LA wildfires, and they
Mm.
tried to make it a fundraiser for that. I mean, how many times did they mention it throughout the evening, which I thought was nice, and having the firefighters there. But there was another person who made headlines. Well, there were a few. Taylor Swift, okay,
Mm.
has made headlines for her behavior at the Grammys. Now, I'm going to let you speak, and then I'm going to
Wait, that's very Kanye of you. I'm gonna let you finish.
because you and I discussed this.
We both went to the Eras tour separate nights, of course. I went August of 23.
Yes.
You went,
August of 24.
yes, we went a year apart.
Year apart.
And I would never consider myself a huge Swiftie, but I definitely really, really loved her music around those months. And definitely 2023, like I think for sure. And I I slowly started to like kind of fall off the train in the last year just because I felt like over consumption, like over exposure,
Yeah.
right? It was everywhere. It's Taylor
Everywhere.
everywhere, right?
Absolutely.
Taylor all over TikTok, Taylor all over music, Taylor all over football, Taylor all over politics now. It's like
Everywhere.
too much. And then because of my coverage over the It Ends With Us in the last month, now it's changing my opinion of her because I feel like she is actually somewhat of a part of this bully train that I see as like the David versus Goliath and the mean machine against Justin Baldoni. And I always think you are some of the people around you. And if Blake Lively is the mean girl or Ryan Reynolds is this like mean dude, and they call Taylor Swift, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, Khaleesi the Dragons, like then Taylor Swift is somewhat part of that crew. Let's be real. We've all heard stories about Taylor and the other people in the music industry. I have a bad taste in my mouth. I have a bad taste in my mouth. And I don't want to because I know that she's very charitable. I know that she treats her crew phenomenal. I love her music. I love her as a performer, but the side personality and seeing the pictures of her with her mean girl crew, and I'm sorry, I just want to say it, like I think the Hadids and Blake Lively and some of those girls, like I think they come off a little bit mean girly when you see them all kind of together whispering at the award shows and stuff.
Mm,
It feels a little bit like, are they the mean girls against like the bullies at the schools? You know what
sure.
I mean?
Now I'm gonna see it from another angle.
Okay.
Okay, because this is what I see. Okay, I see Taylor Swift as a girl's girl, and if I had my group of girls, right? If Donna, if you were working on a movie, right,
Okay.
and you were telling me for years, you've been on this project for years, it's been causing you so many headaches. All I hear is you saying to me, "It was another disastrous day. He busted into my trailer while I was naked and breastfeeding, and then the next day, like, oh my God, he left me a 6 minute voice note last night at 2 a.m. And that's all I'm hearing. I'm not hearing any other context than that because Blake did not share the rest of it clearly. And that's all I'm hearing day after day, week after week, month after month. I'm gonna like go to bat for my girl, right?
Hmm.
When you say, Molly, I really need your help. I really need your expertise to come in here and help me with this. Why would I not go to bat for you? Why would I not be like, yeah, I'm here to protect you. I'm gonna do whatever I can to protect this friendship that I've had for a decade. because her friends, and I don't even know if Ryan Reynolds knew the full story until Justin Baldoni released the full story on the website. Oh my God, the website.
We're gonna get into that. We
We're
have
going to
to.
get into all of it, but let's take it back to
So
the
you're saying rather than looking at her as maybe a mean girl, you can
yeah,
look at it as all she heard was one side.
correct. She's a protector. I mean, she is. She's very, very protective
Totally. You know what?
of
If you
the
really
people
look
in
at
her
it
life.
like that, if she only knows one side,
Yeah.
then you can only support that person. What are your thoughts on all the rumors about, maybe her blocking Billie Eilish from moving up in the charts over the years? Or maybe stories like that with how she's treated, there's a lot of stories of her and other music artists and other girls in the industry.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely one of those situations where when you have the caliber that she has and you're up there on that upper echelon, right? Your team around you is so large.
Mm.
It's so hard to have your hand in every single part of it. And I think sometimes people on your team can make decisions and do things. Listen, the buck stops with you at the end of the day. You are the representative of any decision that anybody on your team makes. And so if someone or a record label or a company did something, she's going to be held accountable for it, whether she did it purposely or not. If there were moves made behind the scenes that she didn't even know about,
Mm.
I just want to give the benefit of a doubt, because when you're in the machine at that level that she's in, she's got hundreds of people talking for her, writing things for her, doing things for her, and it's hard to know what she personally has done and or what the labels have done on her behalf.
And also, like, we do have to remember how easy it is for people just to hear one thing and spiral and spin rumors. Like,
People
there's a whole
love,
rumor about one of the actors on It Ends With Us. And we will get there, but like a side actor, Brandon Sklenar, when he signed with William Morris, and people have completely made up this whole thing about how he signed after the movie because Ryan Reynolds promised him a William Morris signing if he jumps on Blake's side. And I was like, oh my God, that is kind of wild, until I talked to someone at the agency and asked, when did he sign? And they were like, well, they were pitching him already in February earlier that year. And I'm like, see, it wasn't even true. We always have to remember, we don't know any of the facts. We
no,
just can only imagine what the truth is. So at the end of the day, you have to go with your gut. Do I think she's a horrid, horrible person? Absolutely not. I think it's just right now, it's like we're seeing a lot of her.
so much.
We see her every Sunday at the
Yeah,
games. We know we're going to see her. We just saw her on the field like last weekend, right? Or
right.
2 weekends ago when he won, which I think was already a little bit annoying for people that aren't Chiefs fans. I know you're a huge Chiefs fan, so that was probably really exciting. But like, people that aren't Chiefs fans are like, oh. And then, of course, now we have the Super Bowl next weekend. So we had the Grammys. Then we're going to see her nonstop at the Super Bowl in a week. I feel like we just need a little bit of a break.
Right. I think we've seen more of, have we seen more of Taylor Swift or Bianca Censori? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I have not seen Taylor Swift's labia minora.
So, I mean, I'm just saying.
I know. I until I see Taylor Swift's nipples, then you know what? Bianca wins.
Okay. I'm
What
just saying.
about Taylor dancing though so intensely the entire thing? Do you think that's girls girl or do you think that's attention seeking?
100%. Taylor Swift at every single concert. You have to remember, our girl does not get out. Okay. She is locked up in her
I always see her out.
loft,
She's out at dinner every 5 seconds.
but how, like, out, like, enjoying life. Okay. Like, really
That looks like
enjoying.
enjoying. Like she goes out more than me.
Okay. She never gets it for someone in music, for a lover of music. Okay. She never
Mm-hmm.
gets to go out to
I'm
concerts.
a lover of music.
Okay. She is a lover of music. She would love the Eras tour. She would love the Eras tour. She would have been up there dancing. So why is it okay for everyone
Mhm.
at the Eras tour concert to be up there dancing, like living their best lives, and not okay to do it at another music concert, which is the Grammys Awards, having the best time? Her girlfriend's right next to her, they're dancing. And if you pan to the wide shot, which they never show, there's other people dancing. It's not just Taylor.
Well, there was a couple wide shots that I did see. I really have to call you out on this one of Sabrina Carpenter's performance. And I posted on my stories. And they did, and this is going to be such a niche reference, but they did say it would look like Kyle Richards at a Morgan Wade show because it was literally the entire first floor and no one is standing up except Taylor Swift. And I'm not joking. And there's one camera guy and it's on Taylor. And Taylor's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, and it was Sabrina Carpenter performing and everyone's in their seats going like this, but Taylor's dancing. I think that if Sabrina Carpenter is up on stage having her moment at the Grammys and then Taylor's in the audience, like she's so tall too, and she's
Yeah.
dancing and there's someone right behind her that can't see who's going like this. That's attention seeking. That someone said in the comments, that's like standing up while someone's giving a speech at a wedding.
Ooh,
You
okay.
have to think about it.
I think okay, so I'm gonna reverse Uno you on that one.
Okay. I love this.
If I was a performer up on stage with which 90% of that room is filled with that, right?
Okay.
There is nothing worse than performing for an audience that's going, gotta get my little bobblehead like this.
Oh my God, I need a bobblehead. Is that Rainn Wilson?
Yes.
He's from the Baha'i faith with Justin Baldoni.
This is them in the audience. Is there anything worse than an audience of just that staring back at you?
Yes, I totally agree with you, but it's a televised event and they know that.
Okay.
It's like when you do the MTV VMAs or whatever those were. Remember those? The MTV.
Yes.
They always have a lot of people standing up and
And you have to
dancing like right in the
sing.
front.
Yes.
But when you're doing the Grammys, I think that it's like a known thing that most of your audience is going to sit. Now, Chapel Roan, she is someone that got there and got everyone naturally to stand up. Like the whole audience stood up and danced because I don't know what I stood up from my couch. I stood up and started going like, wow. There was something about Chapel Roan and that Pink Pony Club that makes me want to stand up and dance.
It's such a good song.
And then probably on that one, Taylor was like this. No, I'm just joking. I love that song. Do you love her? Do you love her or can't stand her look? Like her look is just so confusing to me.
Not a fan of it at all. I am a fan of her enthusiasm. I was a big fan of her speech. I thought her speech was amazing.
Me too. I didn't realize that music labels don't provide insurance, but I also like don't understand that music world at all.
No. But if you dive deep, it's been a long, troubled kind of system. But yeah, I mean, I love her songs. I actually loved all the performances. I thought the performances were actually really great.
Sick performances. Benson Boone. Oh,
amazing. Wait, when he took off his clothes,
I'm obsessed with Nikki Glazer. I wish she hosted everything.
How good was she?
In Trevor Noah, he is so sleepy. Bye. I am not a fan.
Yeah, not a fan either. Nikki Glazer, 10 out of 10.
Didn't you think it was kind of weird the way they hosted and like walked through the tables?
I hate when they do that.
It was awkward.
And you're like the celebs are like straining because it's like an awkward, like the camera's
the camera was right under one woman's double chin the whole time. I was like, this poor girl. She's like I can see in her nose.
The other polarizing news from the night is who won album of the year. Beyonce.
Oh God.
Won album of the year for Cowboy Carter. I can't tell you one song from it besides the TikTok one that went
This ain't Texas.
Yeah.
Woo.
Neither Billy or Taylor won anything that night.
I was okay with Taylor. No, it was actually a really, really big letdown. I almost I was thinking to myself, someone said earlier when she won the country album, someone said, well, they had like someone online, not in my house, but someone said they had to give her the country because they're gonna give Taylor the best album. And
that's what I thought.
The fact that she won country was shocking enough because that is not, in my opinion, a good country album compared to, I love country.
I just thought of something.
Okay.
We just went against Beyonce. What are we supposed to say? Aren't we supposed
to? Thank you, Beyonce.
Thank you, Beyonce.
Thank you, Beyonce. Thank you, Beyonce. Is my house okay?
I know.
She's very talented. No, I mean,
very
listen,
talented.
She is talented. I just think that this was a really strange choice for her. But this is why you know it's all.
This is the one she wins.
This is why you know it's a little BS. I think that they needed to do it because it's like if we don't give it to her this time, like it will be a full on war. Like we have to give Beyonce something. I found it so fake for her to come late to the show and then be there exactly right before the award, and then that fake like.
The surprise face?
Shocked. I've never seen such bad acting.
Oh my God. We're moving on, everybody. But the Super Bowl is this weekend. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And the big headline or the big question is Travis retiring after the Super Bowl? I know you'd like him to.
No, I like him. I have no problem with the Kelces. Just don't follow them like obsessively, but I have no problem with them. I actually like him. I
Yeah.
like his brother. Like I have no issue whatsoever with them.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say it straight that he is 100% not retiring after the Super Bowl. And I'll tell you why I know this is because when he talked about his brother retiring Jason Kelce, he couldn't even say a sentence without bursting into tears. He's a very emotional man. He comes to tears easily. When he was at Taylor Swift's like last few concerts, he was up in the box crying because this was the last time his beloved girlfriend was going to be singing to him from the Eras Tour stage. If that was his last game in Arrowhead that we just saw, he would have been on the floor and crying, being like, this is my last time in Arrowhead. He would have been like distraught. He was so excited to get to the Super Bowl, to finish there. He's definitely got at least one more year left in him. In fact, in a news conference yesterday, he did say, they asked him where does he think he's going to be in like 2027 or 2028. He's like, hopefully still playing football. So
With his kids,
yes. Oh, the little Kelsey
see,
Swift.
he left that out.
um,
Obviously, they're going to end up together, huh?
oh, 100%. 100%. You know me. I'm all about the Swift Kelseys. All right. So I want to move on because this is on the top of everybody's mind and we can't escape it. And Donna is the utmost authority. I feel very lucky that she is with us today. The Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, Ryan Reynolds of it all. Okay. There's been so many updates, even today, like each day. Okay. Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni filmed It Ends With Us together. It was a hostile set for many different reasons. And Blake Lively released a scathing article in the New York Times against Justin Baldoni, claiming sexual harassment on the set. Justin Baldoni replied with all receipts, proof, timeline. He mentioned it all. So Justin has now released a website. I'm going to let you kind of fill in on the latest happenings, but it's a lot to take in. So what is the latest happenings? Can you do the deep dive here?
Yeah, I think that the majority of the people that were invested in this story over the summer of last year when the movie came out felt really, really confident that, they left the end of the movie feeling like, look, Blake probably was, a difficult person. Clearly, she's not the nicest person because these bad interviews came out in the past. And, who knows really, but the movie was good. A lot of people saw the movie. It made so much money based on how much it was, like the budget versus the box office. Great success. Awesome. Cool. Okay, Blake is kind of like annoying. Yeah, whatever. Move on. That was kind of how it was left. So this came out of nowhere. And when I say out of nowhere, I mean it literally, I think the world would have forgotten about it, but clearly Blake didn't forget about it because she was probably still really reeling from this horrible press. She was planning this behind the scenes, obviously. And
It's really had such negative experience. I don't think she's ever even had anything like this before.
no, I mean, she's had difficult rumors about her
Yes.
following her through her whole entire career, which now have been all unearthed.
Yes.
No one really knew the details of them until this experience. This opened Pandora's box. This is the year of FAFO, right? Which is F around and fuck and find out, right? This is the year. Like I think Bethany Frankel said it best. And 2025 is the year like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have exposed themselves big time because she put out this complaint which now is we're starting to figure out a lot of details. TikTok kind of figured out a lot of details, how the New York Times has been working with Blake Lively, according to a lot of metadata, from way before the complaint was actually out to put out the scathing article. Now, Justin Baldoni came back with the lawsuit. And like we said, with all these the evidence, the actual evidence, and this new lawsuit info that came out over the weekend has even increased evidence. So he came out with an additional 168 pages, which is wild. So his original lawsuit against the New York Times, I want to say, was like 200 pages. Then she came out with an actual lawsuit towards him, which was like 70 something pages. Then he came out with a lawsuit against Ryan and Blake, which is 179 pages. Then this amended lawsuit, which is 168 pages. You guys, I am a lawyer, okay? I went to law school. I am Elle Woods.
Yes.
And like I got Bruiser. What is a Bruiser?
Yes, Bruiser.
So I got Bruiser. Where's Riley? Where's your dog? And I got my law
Definitely
degree and
completed at least
officially
3 semesters of law school under her.
no, like I will be in court and I officially feel like I know everything there is to know about this case. But I did a very, very long deep dive on my YouTube. So if anyone really wants to know the details, you can go over there where I read line by line.
You guys,
You have to understand though, at the end of the day, we're only getting one side versus the other. And these lawyers are very smart. They're releasing it exactly how they want you to read it, meaning they're not putting out anything that they don't want you to see. And there's stuff out there that they probably don't want you to see. So we do have to remember that we're not saying everything. Blake Lively's team at this point is releasing an amended complaint of their own on Friday. So at the end of this week, so the 7th. And that apparently will have some additional information and potentially even more accusations or even maybe more accusers.
Right.
So I don't know how that will work. I personally don't believe it's going to be anything huge because unless she's going to make something up or pay someone, Blake Lively, the way I look at it is I don't think my gut feeling is that I don't think Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds ever thought it was going to go this far. I don't think they ever assumed that on February 4th, we would ever be here. And the reason why is because you're not a smart person to put out a complaint and not include full text messages if you know that the other person has the full text messages and can prove you as a liar.
The first thing that I asked someone, sorry to cut you off, but the first thing I asked someone is, are you showing me everything? Is there anything that this other person has
to prove you wrong?
It's like one of the first questions that you have to ask is like, I need to see everything that you have. We don't have to show the public everything, but I need to see it so that I'm prepared and I don't want to be surprised. Nobody wants to be surprised by information they didn't know. And that's why this is so surprising for me that they would have released an article in the New York Times that was clearly so nitpicked over.
So that's the thing is like, that was their first mistake is like, we saw lies day one.
Huge mistake.
So if you're seeing one lie, now everything could be a lie. Yeah. And then the biggest thing that you're realizing is that in a complaint, you can say anything you want. For her to say he sexually harassed me, she might as well have said he impregnated me with 6 aliens. Like she could say anything in a complaint. It doesn't matter. You don't have to say anything truthful. So that's the thing. She had that first impression benefit.
Yeah.
And because of that, he has a stain on him for the rest of his life. Correct. No matter what happens here, and that's the unfortunate thing, which is really, really sad, is that no matter what happens, he can fight this tooth and nail to the end of life. And he, I believe, has way more evidence than her. So she can come out with an amended complaint on Friday with some big smoking gun, which I still don't think she has because I think you lead with your biggest story, right?
100%. She spent months and months and months preparing that.
You don't hold on to this for a rainy day. I don't think she thought she was going to get here. So I think she doesn't have what she's assuming she thinks he has. And if she has something, I don't think it's going to be as big as it. Okay, whatever. Then no matter what happens, even if they go to trial, even if they settle, even if she admits that it's not true, even if she claims, postpartum, whatever it is, there are going to be people out there. There's a small group of people that either don't know the case well enough, don't even pay attention that well, or are those, I think a lot of women maybe, who in their heart believe he really will always be a sexual predator.
Yeah.
He will never escape this for the rest of his life.
You go back to like the Depp Amber Heard case. I mean, there's still people who believe,
both ways,
no matter what. And that will always be. And unfortunately, with a case this big, that's like this exploded into what it is, it's going to go from just like a blip moment in time, which most kind of like crisis management situations are just like a quick moment in time. And then you wait for the next big story and it kind of disappears, right? I don't think that's going to happen here. I think this is going to become like Hollywood lore, so to speak. It's like, and when something's not just a moment in time because it turns into a verb, like you were Blaked or you were Baldonied. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I honestly think it's going to become one of those
Yeah,
those.
I mean, Amber Heard is like everyone says like Amber Heard is literally like all you can say is she's an Amber Heard. Like the whole world of Hollywood, I think, is invested because there's so many layers. So, of course, you have the big Hollywood machine of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Blake
Right.
Lively just really comes with Ryan Reynolds, but it's Ryan Reynolds, right? He is A-lister, like movie gold. Okay. Not only that, huge producer, huge moneymaker, entrepreneur, has 15,000 projects in the works against a small underdog director producer who has a huge audience and like so many fans, right?
Mhm.
Then you have the whole idea of the PR teams. That whole side piece of this story is so fascinating to me. You also probably because of your history, but the back and behind the scenes of like what the teams were going through of what stories do they leak and what stories should they leak and do we leak and should we tell and who should we tell and do we need to prevent a story and how you realize like PR teams are literally hired not to smear people. They're
Right.
hired to like to drop positive stories about their
Correct.
people
Exactly. Yes.
and and
You
to
want to win back favor with your people.
and to
Is
protect,
right.
right? To
Yes.
protect.
Correct.
But these crisis PR people that were hired were providing Justin a service of a potential service, right? And
Right.
that is what is exposed here, this potential service of damage control.
Right.
And it's if this happens,
Yeah.
then we engage, then we go. But the
Correct.
but
Which
the
is
if
not
never
unheard
happened.
of in the industry. There's also it's a very common thing to also listen, if you don't publish this story, we'll give you this story instead. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's all a game. And I'm
Yup.
telling you that Blake's team right now, they have to be sweating it, knowing how she comes across, in interviews, whatever. If this goes to trial, she does not come across likable. Guilty or not, likability in people's minds is innocence, right? And unlikability is you don't look at them as innocent. You look at, you know what I mean? And so a jury is not going to be very favorable, I think, to her. And that would be concerning to me.
It's it's very, very strange. She can probably act very likable,
Mm-hmm.
I imagine,
Yeah.
but she is it's very, very it's very tough. You know what I'm very concerned about for her versus him, and the what I keep going back to is because people keep saying like, don't look back in history, don't look back at how people were in high school or how they were 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and I say why not? Because I always like to look at personality does matter in these cases. I feel like it should matter in these cases. Molly, I always think about like and you can tell me, I mean, we're in our 40s.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in your 20s, but I'm in my 40s. When we went to high school,
Yeah.
which was 500 years ago, there were mean girls
Yes.
and then there were the not mean girls. And I always say on my show about like I was bullied when I was in ninth grade and I'll never forget it. And it was like a traumatizing event. And the two girls that bullied me, I'm not friends with them on Facebook. I don't follow them regularly, but I know who they are. And when I did look them up a few years ago, just to kind of like just out of curiosity, and I saw their lives and I saw what they did and I looked at their pictures and stuff, like I can feel it. Like
Yeah.
they're still
Oh, yeah.
hanging with the cool crowd.
Yep.
They're still like in that vibe. They're with all like the very, very rich, popular, pretty friends. Everyone's got that same. I'm like, you don't start out like a super mean girl and then become like the most charitable, kind, nice person. Blake, this reputation has preceded her. Like she has always been this person. Whereas Justin, you just don't hear these things about Justin. I have never heard more than the only negative things I've ever heard about Justin is that he is a little egotistical. Okay.
Okay.
He's
Not
a
the
little
in
over
Hollywood,
the
by the
top,
way.
like intense. Okay.
Right? Okay.
He's a little actory and like cheesy. Okay.
So it was
Is he a
90% of
sexual
Hollywood.
predator? I've never heard anyone say he's
No, and
creepy in a sexual way.
that Blake's team is looking very hard to find those people. And the fact that they haven't found those people yet,
Yeah, like where are they? They
the
would
first
be
thing that you're
speaking
going
out
to do
on
is try to
TikTok.
find someone to say, yes, the same thing happened to me.
Where are the people on Reddit that are saying, "Oh my God, you guys, I worked on a movie with Justin Baldoni 7 years ago, and he is so disgusting." In fact, I had someone on Threads. I should have checked before my show today. I didn't check. I had someone on Threads last night reach out to me, and she said, "Oh, here we go." She said, as someone who has worked with Justin Baldoni multiple times, approximately 15 years ago, I have to say that Blake's allegations seem so completely out of character and don't even sound like the same person I knew. While people can change, the problem is if there is some truth to her complaint that she embellished and exaggerated so much of it that none of it seems believable. If there's truth in there, then why pad the truth with lies?
Do you think how old do you think we will be? She acknowledges that she may be embellished or exaggerated.
I
And
don't know if she has the capability to recognize her own abilities of like I think she will believe until her death that she was sexually harassed by him.
close your eyes for a second. I'm gonna show you something.
Closing.
Close your eyes.
Can I peek?
Not yet. No. Okay. Okay.
Is it a prop?
Yeah, it's a prop. Okay,
You know
ready?
me in props.
This is me waiting. You can open it now. This is me. Wait, I gotta put my like. This is me waiting. This is when it ends. It ends with us, right?
It ends with
What are the chances I have a skeleton?
that literally is there just for this.
What are the chances?
Because even if the judge did say that Justin is innocent, and I said this in my a TikTok I just posted, even if the judge said, Justin, you're innocent, and Blake, you're like you didn't win this case or whatever, she would walk out and be like, "Thank you, judge. I know. Thank you for exonerate. Like, thank you for letting me win."
Well, and there's also the trial jury and there's the public jury. And a lot of times they don't necessarily agree and come with the same verdict.
Yeah.
And in this industry, the public jury is the one that matters most to them. And if it's just going to be, it's really going to be tough for honestly for them to recover, and mostly Blake, you
Yeah.
know, at this point. Real quickly, because I know we're almost at the hour, but I did want to bring up one other, speaking of juries and trials that made the news this week, is the Menendez brothers.
Oh, what did it do?
So there's a new DA. The old DA really wanted to retry, kind of like relook at it, open it back up, and get hopefully release them, thinking that maybe they served enough time, maybe certain evidence was not used that should have been in the trial, discussing the abuse that they endured. There is a new DA in town, and he is not as favorable as the previous DA. So
Okay,
what's said about him?
that's Nathan Hochman
Yes.
versus George Gascon, and honestly, he's so much better than George Gascon.
Okay. So
So
he,
that like for LA, but maybe not for what's his called? Maybe not for the Menendez, but he's so
right.
much better for LA. So this is going to be a tough situation.
So what he said is the only way he really would look at this or relook at this is if there truly is new alleged evidence, nothing that has been in the trial before, if it can be proven that this is truly new evidence that they are going to be revealing, and not just relooking at the old evidence under new light or new laws that have happened today. So that is going to be relooked at soon. Do you have any strong feelings either way about the Menendez brothers? Do you feel strongly that they should serve the time that they should serve and they should stay there?
I mean, listen, I don't really have a very strong opinion. I didn't finish watching the documentary or the movie. I know you do. I know that you had a very, very strong opinion, and I trust your judgment. Um, it's tough. It's like I know that there are a lot of other people that deserve to stay in prison longer than them. But I'm not personally someone that's like gonna fight tooth and nail for them. But yeah, I mean, I feel for them more than I do for other criminals,
Yeah. So
who have committed the same kind of a crime because of what they've gone through.
And there's so many different ways to look at it. I do have a somewhat personal connection to it. I was neighbors with the Menendez brothers when I was really little. They used to live in Pennington, New Jersey, in our little neighborhood, and our parents were friendly with them. This is before they moved out to California. So they were in their teens. They went to the same high school that my brother went to. And so we knew their family socially. Again, we had dinners with them and they invited us over for their holiday party. That was kind of the extent of what we knew. So when this all got brought up again, I asked my parents, because I was so little, I was like 5, 6, 7, years old at the time. So my memories are very brief. And I said, well, so what do you think about what happened? Like, what was the dynamic going on in that family? And they said to me, they were the worst. He especially was the worst. He was so mean to Kitty. And their impression of Kitty, which is a little bit different than they're portraying in the documentary and the movie, was that she was just so quiet and so reserved around him, almost like fearful, and that he was so mean to her, and she kind of just took it. And it was somewhat quiet. And it was definitely chatter around, the neighborhood of like how mean he actually was. He was kicked out of the Suns tennis matches at my brother's school where they went because he was
Sounds, yeah, like one of those hothead.
Yes, hothead.
Yeah.
But then I asked them, I said, okay, well, what were the kids like? Were they, good kids? Were they, what were they like? And he said they were kind of bratty teenagers, not like unexpected, but they also were very affluent, and they kind of let you know that they were like really great at tennis and all the things, but they were teenagers. And so when the news came out that they had murdered their parents, I said, what did you even think? Like, of course we were shocked. We would never expect those kids, but we believe every bit of the fact that they were abused. There was no question. We saw the verbal abuse of Kitty, seeing his character, that they're not that surprised that these allegations happened. Now, that being said, they did kill their parents brutally. So do they deserve jail time for that? I would think so.
Absolutely.
And you know what? You still killed, right? And that
And like really killed. Like it was
brutal.
So bad.
Brutal. Yes. However, when you look at someone who is doing it in self-defense, or someone who feels that their lives are in danger or they've been tortured by somebody, is there a leniency clause? And more importantly, I think what they're weighing is, if we let them out, how many cases, it's like opening the Pandora's box of how many cases of people who killed their alleged abuser or someone who wronged them, did we then have to relook at? It just,
that's the thing.
So many. And I don't know any DA who wants to deal with
open
that.
those. Yeah. And then the people are going to start to say, oh my gosh, it's just because they have money, and it's just because they have fame, or it's just because they're white, or it's just
100%.
because, Kim Kardashian jumped on the case, or it's just because they're famous. Like it really does set a precedent for killing your parents and then being set free.
On the other flip side of it, these two brothers have done so much work on themselves during their prison time, which really is what prison is about, right? It's reforming. It's hoping that you can reform and become a better human being inside the system. They have gotten degrees in counseling. They're helping others, inmates. They're doing a lot of positive. And so I think that's what they're trying to show, this DA, is that they would actually come out and do something good in the world. And if I was their PR person and they were let out, I think they would do an amazing job going around speaking on what they've learned, the mistakes that they've made, and what they would have done different, how to help others in similar situations to make better decisions.
Yeah.
And I think that would be really amazing for them.
I mean, hopefully. That's the thing. You never really know. Like, you really don't know exactly how people handle things until they come out of prison. Like, we can only hope that they come out of prison and become these like really amazing philanthropic men.
Yeah.
And you don't know.
No, you don't know. And can you imagine like being out of society for as long as they have and like being thrown back into this world?
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Right now, like a shock to the system. Oh my God. All right, Donna, I know our time is almost up and I've loved having you today. I need to have you come back after Blake's, whatever's coming out on Friday. Is this The Smoking Gun?
We're gonna see on Friday, but it better be good, because if she says, like, they're saying basically that they're gonna come out something huge and nothing will come out, then what are they gonna do?
Then I think it's Endgame for, not
It
to use
has to
the
be.
Swift reference, but I do think it's Endgame for Blake Lively. I hope it's something shocking, and maybe she does have her day, but yet to be seen. Donna, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week with some more polarizing headlines. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.